Amin does a couple of great podcasts around here for Meadowlark Media, Le Batard and Friends Network. One of them is Cinephobe, and he does that with Zach Harper and Anthony Mays. And one is Basketball Illuminati, does this with Tom Haberstroh. It's creative in a space where a lot of people are talking about some of the same things in basketball. They are not. And one of the things that Tom has been doing for a long time now is covering the officiating, because it's like a fascinating, dirty underworld that, like, if everyone's competing for victory in the margins, the refereeing kind of is important. If all the games are close and these guys are competing in 50-point games, you can't have the disaster that you had last night where the competence of the players seems to be greater than the competence of the people officiating the players. Also, though, Amin, seems like an impossible game to officiate. Seems wholly impossible. Everyone's gotten too athletic. How do I stop him from scoring without fouling him? So, Tom Haberstroh, the latest thing that's happened here, because, Amin, you tell me, have you seen in your career a lot of what's playing out publicly right now where the players are complaining this loudly about the credibility of their officiated product?
Yeah, I try to remain kind of present and not get caught up in now for two reasons. One is obviously the recency bias, that things that are happening now feel like they've happened more than ever before. But the other thing also is we are in an era where if someone complains about the refs, we're getting it instantly from all over the league at once. And so 20 years ago, guys would complain about refs, and you may have to wait till the next day to either read about it in the paper or watch it on SportsCenter. Now it's instantaneous. So again, are they more complaints than ever, or are we just hearing all the complaints? Tom, I'd open it up to you. What do you think?
What is the level of crisis here, Tom? Because you're the nation's authority on actually knowing how these referees are graded. You have expertise here.
Yeah, I just got a text from an executive who said the officiating has been embarrassing all season. That this is not an anomaly, what we saw last night, where Josh Hart is calling out the officials on a Jimmy Butler non-call. You had Luka Doncic, one of the biggest stars in the world. Like, he's doing a money sign, a money gesture at an official on national TV in a game. Mark Cuban is protesting or filing a protest on a game because of a botched call or miscommunication in the third quarter. And then you had an official who's been in the spotlight over the past couple of weeks because of the Fred VanVleet thing, the rant. That official had to admit to a blown call at the buzzer with two teams that are fighting for playoff position. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Like, we had Anthony Davis earlier this season saying the Lakers were getting cheated out of games because of the officiating, one of the biggest stars in the NBA. So this is not like what happened last night. To me, feels like an officiating Armageddon, where every game it seemed like things were going awry. But if you talk to executives and players and coaches, like, this has been going on all season, and the trust that these players and teams and coaches and executives have with officiating, I think it's as low as it's been since I've been covering the league.
Before we get to this Jason Kidd sound, can I just give you this Mark Cuban quote on Twitter? For those wondering about the play with 1:54 to go on the third, let me explain what happened. The ref called Mavs ball. The announcer announced it. Then there was a timeout. During the timeout, the official changed the call and never told us. Then when they saw us line up as if it were our ball, he just gave the ball to the Warriors. Never said a word to us. They got an easy basketball. He meant basket. Crazy that it would matter in a 2-point game. Worst officiating non-call mistake possibly in the history of the NBA. All they had to do was tell us, and they didn't.
You know, the weird thing is, and Tom, maybe you can tell me this. If they thought it was their ball, why wasn't there anyone near the ref, near the ball at the inbound spot? Why would they think because it's a third quarter, it's not like you would have moved up the court. Why would they?
So I think what's interesting, and let's hear this. I like what Jason Kidd said after the game. I think that's interesting. We gotta hear that.
It wasn't really explained. I think there's a lot of confusion. A lot of people were out of position. So when you look at the court was split. We're on one side and the Warriors on another, and you have a referee on the baseline. Mike was on the baseline, so I would assume Mike thought it was our ball too. So, to explain to Mike or ask Mike, like, if there's confusion, it's easy to just come in and blow the whistle and get us restarted. because it was confusion, understanding that we thought it was our ball. The referee pointed towards our bench, but that was the signal of the timeout. And so, but there was confusion on the play before it even started with whose ball it was, because he pointed, I thought, to us first, and then he changed it and then went to a timeout and pointed to us. So as I asked Mike, I said, Mike, why are you down the floor if you don't think, if it's not our ball? And so there was quite a few people out of position on that play. It's easy, it's correctable, but you first have to admit there was a mistake.
Tom, can we just examine, I mean, if we can examine the particulars of this, or we can examine the idea that these players are now getting to such a level of perfectionism and where they've extended the sport that they're asking referees to be as good at their jobs as they are at their jobs. And it's just a disconnect that the referees aren't going to be that competent.
Well, I think an aspect of this that's looming over all of this is a few months ago, Tom, correct me if I'm wrong, the NBA Players Association, the NBA, and the NBA Referees Association had a joint statement where it looked like they were aligned and they were going to be far more punitive to anybody that has rebellious acts on the courts towards officiating. And it seems as though on the heels of that, maybe everybody was playing nice for a little bit, but now we're all coming to a head. And that statement seems ridiculous because we've never had this kind of open insubordination of officiating.
That's happened before, Mike. Like a few years ago, I remember there was a meeting, like a clandestine meeting where between the players and the referee union, and they were meeting, I think, at All-Star break in LA. I don't know if me and you remember this. Mm-hmm. And it was essentially like, all right, we butted heads all season, but we're going to get back into it, and we're going to be nicer to each other, and everything's fine. We do this all the time. Like, we have these statements, public statements, about how everything's been reconciled, and we're going to be more professional, but it unravels. The trust between the players and the officiating clearly is at an impasse. I mean, we don't have Fred VanVleet eating that fine, $30,000, and then other players pointing to that fine and saying, like, listen to Fred VanVleet. I'm not going to speak on it, but listen to Fred VanVleet. And it just, we're not even at the playoffs. So it's this bad, Mike, and we haven't reached the playoffs where things get heightened to an extreme. So look, this Dallas Mavericks play, it's a clear misunderstanding, a clear communication breakdown. I don't think Mark Cuban's going to win this one. There hasn't been a protest that has been accepted by the league since 2008, I believe. But he's right. Jason Kidd is right. An official was on the Dallas side of the floor, while the other official is inbounding it, a clear miscommunication among the officials, right? And so I think what players are saying is, if you guys can't even get on the same page, then how are we supposed to be on the same page? Communication, trust, all of it seems to be very damaged now across the league.
Yeah, communication issues on multiple fronts, right? Because not just among the officials, but the chief complaint, and Jason Kidd mentioned it, and so have other Mavericks players, is the mistake was made, and then no one talks to them. They just have their chin up, and no one explains anything, and it feels like they're totally robbed of something with zero explanation.
But isn't it just pool reporting, Tom? Isn't they go back to some closet somewhere in the arena, and then one reporter is sent over to ask 4 questions? Isn't that how it works?
Yeah, there's a pool reporter that's assigned for every NBA game. As I understand it, this is the current rule, is that they have to submit the questions beforehand to the league that is given to the crew chief, not the referee in question. Like Andy Nagy, who was the referee that inbounded the ball to the Golden State Warriors and made the call for the Golden State Warriors, he did not answer those questions. It was the crew chief, which, by the way, if you're one of the top 75 officials in the NBA and you're an NBA official, I think we should be able to answer those questions. Explain it yourself. I don't know why we're protecting these lower level officials from speaking in their minds or explaining the call. We don't have to have the crew chief explaining it. Anyway, the point is, there's no press conference after the game. They don't open questions to the 3 officials. It's like 1 or 2 questions to the crew chief. In this case, it was Sean Wright. And when Jason Kidd is talking there about Mike, he's talking about one of the officials, the second in the totem pole. The second official is actually Michael Smith. He was the one on the Dallas side. He did not answer questions after the game. It was Sean Wright. It was not Andy Nagy who was the one inbounding it. And to me, I just feel like the credibility there's a gap between players and officials. Is like Anthony Davis said a few months ago, I think officials should be fined. I think when they botch calls or when they blow calls, they should be fined, punished by the league. And I feel like they are asking for more transparency, more accountability. And I think when you have crew chiefs speaking for other officials in 1 or 2 part questions, I feel like there's more we can do to increase the credibility, increase the transparency.
By the way, Mark Cuban texted the same thing to our Matt Sullivan, the play, and say even one of the refs was missing and thought it was our ball. So that is something, I guess, a speaking point for Dallas. But Tom, referees are reprimanded, right? It's just not out in the open. But there is a structure there by which the league either rewards or punishes their referees.
Yeah, but they don't publicize that, right? Remember, Tony Brothers earlier this season in November, there was an incident in which he referred to Spencer Dinwiddie allegedly to a teammate as a BAMF, and it's not a bad AMF, it's the other one. And Mark Stein, he reported that there was a punishment to Tony Brothers.
I don't like bad MAF. I don't like any of that.
It's not bad AMF.
I don't know. And whatever that was, I don't like any of that.
You don't know.
No, just let it fly.
All right, bitch ass motherfucker.
Yes, Tony Brothers called Spencer Dinwiddie, then with the Dallas Mavericks, a bitch ass motherfucker, allegedly to a teammate. And Spencer Dinwiddie after the game was like, hold up. We can't let this happen. If Scott, he didn't take issue of Tony Brothers calling him that. He took issue with Tony Brothers calling him that to his teammate. He's like, hey, if you feel that way, tell me. Come to me and say that to my face. And so after that happened, Mark Stein reported, who's based in Dallas, one of the best reporters in the business, that Tony Brothers had been, I think the phrasing was he missed a game, that he was suspended a game, but he missed like 5 days in between assignments. That's as far as we got. The NBA didn't comment on it. We did not get any official punishment about Tony Brothers, if there was punishment. And so all this stuff is just shadowy, kind of in the dark. We don't really know. Whispers about referees being punished by the league. And so I think players are just asking, like, there's 13 people on the court that have direct influence on the game. The players, 10 of those, can be fined publicly. We know their salaries and all that. But the 3 others, the officials, are hidden from any sort of public reprimand on the punishment of, the discipline or anything like that.
Tom, behind you, over your right shoulder, there's a light switch panel with 4 light switches on it. That is way too many switches for one panel. I need to know. You don't know what all those light switches do.
Of course he does.
No idea. I have no idea.
You live there.
Admit it.
I honestly, I get it wrong every time I walk in the room. I have not gotten good at this. I say, okay, the correct one to light up above me is the one second from the left. And in my head, I'm saying the second one from the left is the wrong one. Don't push that one. That's how my brain works.
2 switches.
I haven't gotten it right.
2 switches is a max for me on one panel.
Really?
That's it. I don't need more. It's just too confusing.
No, man. I
don't like
a good
this
control panel. You ever seen ones with the touchscreen where you hit all different buttons?
Haberstroh, thank you for being on with us. I appreciate the insight. I have to segue here because Ariel Helwani has arrived. And
how many light switches does he have in his room?
I have really disappointed Ariel Helwani, and he wants to get on here as a matter of emergency. He wants to get on here because he's so disappointed in me and our company. Thank you, Tom. We'll get to this Ariel Helwani story in a second
and congrats to Ariel about his basketball gig. Congratulations.
Yes, Ariel Helwani tried to make himself an NBA guy at ESPN. They held him back, and now he's broken free, and he's going to do whatever the hell he wants, wherever he wants to do it. But he's disappointed. Do you guys know why he's disappointed?
I can guess.
Yeah. Meadowlark Media has hired...
I thought it was Joe Rogan's comments on Jorge Masvidal.
What has you disappointed, Ariel? Joe Rogan does say that Masvidal could have fought in the era of St. Pierre, even though he did and lost. It was a very strange thing for Joe Rogan to say. But that's not what you want to talk about today. Go ahead. Let us have it. Let me have it. Give your opinion.
It's like my head is hurting here, guys. I'm really distraught. if I'm being honest, there I am. You know, I've got a busy day ahead of me with, you know, Tom just mentioned new basketball show, Showtime Sports. I mean, could have done it for Meadowlark Media, but of course Skipper didn't put enough zeros. It was a weird thing, the whole thing went down. But anyway, I'm scrolling through Twitter, I'm scrolling through Instagram, and I see this like statement. And it looked like, first I was like, did like one of my kids, you know, did one of my kids like notepads get on my Instagram? Like, what is this? What is this? Like, what is this font? What is going on here? What are we doing? Like, what is this? Is this like a ransom note? What are we doing here? So I start reading, and then I'm like, I surely don't follow this guy. So I don't even know why it's on my feed. So I took a screen grab of it. Then I blocked the account because I didn't want it, you know, poisoning my feed. So I took a screen grab. Then I sat down, digested it. And, you know, I'll be honest, guys, you know, I don't work for Meadowlark. I consider you an extended part of my family, you know, like I feel like you know, I always walk by the Clevelander when I'm there, you know, with my family on South Beach. I never tell you guys that I'm there. I don't want to actually go into the studio, but I feel some sort of like kinship
you never come in, but
I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered. You know, it goes back to the whole, you know, Skipper thing from a year and a half or so ago, but listen.
Not enough zeros, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I was, you know, trying to get to ESPN, Skipper was in charge. He wouldn't even sneeze in my face, for goodness sakes. Now, all of a sudden, like, you know, we're having phone calls. But the point is, I see this note that my good friend, a dear friend, dare I say a mentor, and dare I say in many respects like a soulmate and a confidant, my good friend Dan Le Batard, has made a rare misstep. Because it's as the kids say, it's been W's left and right for Le Batard. I mean, dating back to the Herald days, it's been W's left and right.
It's a deal with the devil that we need help.
I'm not done. Okay, and then I see
no, he's still got more to this preamble.
Let my boy cook.
He has hired, okay, the biggest cancer in the history of sports, the man who, along with, I don't know if it's his father-in-law, his stepfather, his cousin. I don't even know what their relationship. Are they even friends? Do they even talk anymore? I don't know. Don't care.
I don't think they do.
Along with this guy, Jeffrey. I mean, who above the age of 14 calls himself Jeffrey? I've only met one person. It's this man. In any event, they went to my beautiful city. They went into my beautiful province. They took the collective heart, the collective soul of my city,
Montreal,
and they freaking ripped it out and they stomped it on the ground. Not only did they stomp on it, they spat on it and they peed all over it. And then what they did was they went to the beautiful city known as Miami, South Beach, the 305, and they did the exact same. And then I find out that my good friend Dan Le Batard has now hired this guy.
Not only this, this is how desperate Meadowlark is, Ariel. We're hiring him today over much booing here. He not only ruined your fandom of the Montreal Expos, he also ruined the fandom of Mike Ryan. Imagine how Mike Ryan feels.
I can't even imagine how Mike Ryan is still doing the show right now.
How is
you
Mike
still
Ryan
doing
the
show?
show?
Oh, would he quit?
In protest.
No, there's that.
You should quit.
Yeah.
You should put an ultimatum right now on the table. It's either him or me. And I mean, could you imagine if Le Batard actually chooses him? I mean, that would be the second misstep of the day. I can't believe you, such a smart guy, Dan Le Batard, would make a move like this. This has to be a Skipper move. I mean, that's the only explanation that I have.
I'm sorry that Skipper insulted you. I don't have a lot of greater regrets than you not already working for us.
Thank God. By the way, Dan, you know what's the second thing I did? I did the Hail Mary. I said, thank God I'd be teammates with David Samson right now. I'd be disowned from the 514. They would not let me across the border if that guy was my colleague. And who could forget? I mean, who could forget? Mike, play the clip right now. 10-7 Helwani, May of 2020.
He doesn't have
in the darkness of the pandemic.
Wait a minute.
When I
loaded up.
laid the smackdown on his candy ass. Remember that?
Hold on. This is the thing, though.
He scored it.
Samson has argued with everyone around here. You scored it 10-7. You
killed him.
No, people really didn't like it as content. People
loved it.
No, they did not like it as content because
they're building a statue in my honor as a result of that debate in the heart of Montreal. It was one of the great beatdowns in the history of beatdowns. Who didn't like it? Your loser fan base, the 5 people on Reddit. Who didn't like it?
I will tell you that of all the people who have
here for you, Dragon Reddit,
argued with Samson here, I believe Billy Gill is said to have had the best sparring with him. Billy Gill did not get emotional, and so it wasn't screeching preaching. I think some of your message was critiqued because you wouldn't let Samson talk.
I wouldn't let him talk. Oh, the poor baby, I wouldn't let him talk. No, you know what happened? He went toe-to-toe. He went one-on-one with an actual journalist. And so I called sources because I heard his little song and dance the previous week with Mike, where he talked about, you remember when he said that Montreal wasn't very welcoming to the Jewish businessman who came in to steal our team and bring it to him? Remember? So then I started calling people around. How did that meeting go? What was the real story? And you know what I came with, Dan? You know what I came with? I came with the freaking facts, okay? I came with the freaking facts, and he had no idea what to do. He was quivering. He was stumbling and mumbling, and now, in retrospect, he says, I didn't let him speak. Guess what, David? No one wants to hear your takes on how to run a baseball team. No, certainly, I hear him and John, because I listen to everything you guys do. I hear them talking about, like, TV deals and stuff. David, how many TV deals have you brokered, all right? You were a cog in the wheel. Mr. Steinbrenner, you handle this for us, and we'll take whatever scraps that you can pass off to us. No one listened to you, and no one wants to listen to you on Meadowlark anymore. So, unfortunately, I have now unsubscribed from all the feeds.
Come
I am
on.
blocked you all on every social media.
No,
I want nothing to do with you.
No, we have to
Nothing.
repair this. No, this needs to be repaired.
Do a lot of good content.
No,
here,
you're
man.
too
I
valuable.
want nothing to do with any. I haven't got to CBS Sports for the last 5 or so years, ever since he joined forces with them, because I can't see that face on my screen. I'm sorry.
What
After I
about
beat him,
Moco? What about Moco? No, wait, Roy says you can run the rest of them off, but you
Talking
have
about
to,
Matthew Coca?
You have to continue to appear with Renee Montgomery. You have
Who,
to.
me?
Yes, you. I don't know.
I've
It
never
was
been
just.
on with Renee Montgomery.
It was just. He was
Keep
just.
listening. You can, not listen to all of our stuff, but still listen
He's
to
just
Mocha.
saying,
Okay,
if
I
you're-
We do
understand, I
mystery
understand.
crate. We don't have enough heels on
No,
that
you
show.
got to listen. You guys only have me on when there's some kind of controversy, when I'm all fired up. By the way, still #1 video on the YouTube channel. I
Listen
check
to me.
time and again. no
Ariel-
one touches me.
Ariel-
I mean, Helwani equals ratings.
Yeah, it's true,
is that
and
true?
I want
Look
to.
at the triple C on
is
that.
true.
Yeah, yeah.
Look at the triple C.
Doing curls?
I want to play
you
for
noticed
him.
that, huh? You
Yeah.
noticed that much.
I want to play for him some Covington sound because this is getting
Oh, here
more,
we go.
more and more absurd.
Oh, now we're doing this?
No,
I'm all
just-
fired up.
no,
now you're
hold
going to
on.
get me in real trouble.
No, I don't. Yes, we are going to do this in a second. But before we do this, I do want, because you've been wanting to say all this for a long time. You've said it arguing with David Samson. You are the last great defender anywhere in America. Montreal Expos got screwed. I loved
That's right.
baseball in that city. We were about to build something great, and it got stolen from us from David Samson. So the floor is yours on the day of his big hiring, because we need some of his business acumen to make big deals in Hollywood so that Mike Ryan can go to John Wick premieres and make horror movies with the big Hollywood people. We need big business deals to be made. Go ahead and indict our big hire. What are the greatest?
Listen.
You mean he hasn't yet?
What are the greatest criticisms you have? No, he's just getting started. He's got passion for 30 years on this guy.
Oh, my. Listen, I'm calling Andrew Marchand right now, and I'm breaking the news to him. Apparently, the situation is quite dire at Meadowlark. If they have to tag this guy who has had no success in business, who was riding the coattails of his art dealer, father-in-law, stepfather, brother, cousin, I don't know what he was. I don't
Works
even think
hard.
they're still friends. And this is the guy that we have now tapped to Dan, if you needed help, you could have just asked me. And we've been chatting. And all of a sudden, I'm like, wait a second, what's going on here?
No, you said more
We're-
zeros. Yeah.
We're bringing in
How
this
many
guy.
zeros
We're
there
bringing
were?
this guy who's like, I mean, what would the equivalent be here? Like, this would be like bringing in a 1980s jobber wrestler to main event WrestleMania. Okay, think a little highly of yourself.
We
here.
cheapen
Puff your
ourselves.
chest out,
We cheapen
all right?
ourselves with Samson.
Cheapening. You're. Let me ask you this, Dan. If you were still at the worldwide leader, would they approve of this hire? Absolutely not. They would have laughed in your face. They don't say we don't bring jobbers in to run the business. We don't bring, fourth string quarterbacks to lead the dance. We don't do that. I would love to know right here and now. Can we break kayfabe for a second? Who approved this? Was it Skipper? I mean, who could possibly have approved? Was it Skipper because he has him on the show with him? Like, what is going on here?
Do we need to get Skipper to give some answers here for why the hell we're hiring Samson?
And also,
Are you not aware
how
that you're
happy-
a co-founder of this company?
I
the
prefer
way-
to blame Skipper.
By the way, how happy was CBS when you guys made it? They're like, thank God we don't have to do this show anymore with this guy. Nothing personal. Wait to see. Okay, you know what's the funniest thing? When I click on the hashtag wait to see, and it's only him who uses that hashtag. You can't use a hashtag that no one else uses, okay? Then it's not a real thing. I'm sorry, David. Maybe we could sit down over a cup of matzo ball soup and I can explain to you how social media works. No one's waiting to see. Nothing is being taken personal. No one cares about your takes on anything. Leave us alone. Go freaking run, the single A team in freaking Dunedin, all right? No one wants to hear your takes on anything. Go ruin those people's lives, all right? Don't ruin my favorite sports show here, okay? I'm annoyed right now because that means I'm going to have to hear from this guy more. Enough. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Nothing personal.
Good
now
job.
part of the Le Batard and Friends
Thank you.
broadcast.
Hey,
Tom's
thanks.
been here the whole time.
Yeah, I thought David was coming. I thought David was
Hey,
coming.
Tom.
You're messing up the shot.
Standing
Mess up the
ovation.
shot. Tom, you mess up the shot.
Put another 0 on there. And you know what? Because of this move, Skipper put 4 zeros on there, and I still won't look at you when you call
Oh,
me. All right? I'm
no.
blocking your number too.
No.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
That's
Jesus. This is not a great day for the company. I don't know how
And poor
to.
Pablo Torre. By the way, can we call Pablo right now on the phone? Pablo, you have made a huge mistake. You have made a massive mistake, Pablo. SOS. Pablo, if you're watching, if you're listening, go back. Call Jimmy Pitaro right now. Say it was a mistake. It was a fever dream. You don't want to team up with this guy. You made a mistake, Pablo. Guess what's going to happen? You're going to have a tremendous amount of success early on, and you know what he's going to do? He's going to try to trade your ass to freaking Bleacher Report, because that's all he does. You make a little money for him, you get a little success, and then he trades your ass on the first bus out of town. All right, Pablo, if you're watching, friend to friend, brother to brother, don't do it. This is a huge mistake, Pablo.
You know what's
Massive.
funny is I looked it up and hashtag wait to see. He's right. It sounds like such a common
Of course
term.
I'm right.
That
No,
surely more people
wait to
use it.
see is a lame hashtag.
What are we
That's-
waiting to see, by the way?
Hey, put it on the poll. Put it on the poll, Guillermo. Wait to see. Lamest hashtag or the lamest hashtag of all time? I don't know. It's the
I'm glad
freaking
you gave him
worst.
an opportunity to clarify, because I wasn't really clear on what he was going
You don't even
for.
follow him? I mean, this is your colleague now. You don't follow him? I keep tabs on my enemies. Keep your enemies closer. That's
Wanna
what you got to
play
do. So I know
Nobody
Covington
uses this
sound?
hashtag.
Is
It's
there
amazing.
anybody, Ariel? Is there
Colby
any?
Covington calling out John
We're
Anik.
going to do that in a second, but
No, no one cares.
okay. Well, help me navigate a landscape that you know better than anybody else, because it seems like the people were. It seems it's going to be Masvidal and Covington, and they're going to be louder than everybody else, and they're going to be pay-per-view studs because that's how Conor McGregor did it. And Covington is just going to be maximum. This seems like an act. All of it does. But before I get to it, because your heartbreak is real, he texted me, and when he said I'm heartbroken, I legitimately started looking through my phone to see if someone had died. I don't think there is anyone. Ariel, who do you dislike more than the person that we have just hired?
Why are we still doing this with him? Can we just?
No, this is great. Why are you getting uncomfortable, Mike? I thrive in these situations. This is like.
I think
this
we're all
is my-
clear where you stand on David. I don't know if we need to give him another opportunity.
You know what? Now that you
Little
mention
more
this,
clarity.
I have to
Here
pick
we
a
go.
little fight here with Mr. Mike Ryan, because Mike Ryan
Whoa.
plays both sides. He comes on and he tells me,
Charge.
"Oh, I want you on the pod to do this and that," and then he texts me afterwards, "Great stuff. You really gave it to him. Yeah, good job." Then I hear them the following week, and he's like, "Boy, that Ariel, he got a little too personal. Huh? He got a little too emotional." Which isn't, Mike. Clearly, you're Team Samson, and that's okay. I got enough allies over there. Shout
So's
out to my guy,
Amin.
Tony.
So's Amin.
Shout out, Tony.
Amin's
Yeah.
Team Samson too.
Yeah. Oh, let's not get started on Amin. We all remember the tweet back in 2017 when Mayweather McGregor. I don't forget.
I still
Here's the
can't
thing.
find it.
Oh, I thought you
I
were talking
hold
about the
grudges.
Spider-Man one.
I hold grudges better than
a good
anyone
one.
on the planet, okay? I never forget any of this. And so that's why I feel so personally attacked here by Dan, because I remember all the great things Dan has done for me, and all of a sudden it feels like a freaking knife in the back.
It's
I
not.
can't believe
It's
you
not
sided with him
personal
over
attack.
me.
No, I need to get more of those zeros for
Nothing
you.
personal?
We need help getting more zeros. Thank you
Colby Covington.
for all your thoughts on that matter. Let's play the Covington sound, Mike, just so
Oh,
that
here we go.
so that
Wait,
people.
let me just get my blanket and my pillow so I can go to
No,
take a
but
nap here for a
Ariel,
moment. during
he's getting a lot of title fights. He's getting treated
No, I
like he's
know.
Conor McGregor, like he's going right to the front of the line because he does things like this. What's the context? we need?
Courtesy of MMAfighting.com. He comes after
Shout
one
out.
of the more popular characters in the world of fighting, John Anik.
So you wanted to lick my freaking balls in London? Oh, Kobe, this
this. But then you want to go back behind the stage and cheerlead for a racist. So he associates with racism and Bilal Muhammad. And, you know, John Anik, dude, I don't want your kids to grow up without a dad. Just realize you live in Boca. I live in Miami, motherfucker. You're not too far from me. So you better shut your fucking mouth. You poke the bear, now you get the bear comes after you.
I don't think that's how that saying
Poke
goes.
the bear, now you get the bears coming after you. How many bears are coming after him? Listen, Colby Covington is a showman. He's a pro wrestler. He plays a character. He's not going to do anything to John Anik. That being said, it is a bit of a weird look to try to pick a fight with a broadcaster because there's no payoff, right? In the world of pro wrestling, you pick a fight with someone that you're actually going to fight, right? So there's no payoff here. It's just sort of unimaginative. Look, here's the thing. Colby Covington has not been seen or heard from for a year. He is a very popular fighter, especially with a certain sector of society. I'm sure you could guess which one that is. He came back last week to be the backup fighter for the main event in London, Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman. I think he thought that the world would be throwing a parade because he was back. Oh, he's back. Chaos is back with his fake jewelry and his cars that he doesn't own and the women who are not, you know, in any type of relationship with him that he just pays to be in his video. Oh my God, everyone's so excited. And what happened was no one was really excited. And I think what we were seeing here over the last few days when he did this media tour was a guy who was being like, holy smokes, let me grasp at something here to try to make some headlines, to try to make some news because I need to get people excited about me coming back. Does he deserve a title shot? I think it's a tough sell. He's 0-2 in title shots. He has, you know, one win since his last title loss, and he hasn't fought in a year. And there are other people who have been active and are more deserving of a title shot, namely Bilal Muhammad, Gilbert Burns, who's fighting in Miami on April 8th, et cetera, et cetera. So what he's trying to do is get us talking about him. So all of a sudden it leads to this quote unquote money fight. But here's the difference, Dan. There's a young man out of Birmingham, England named Leon Edwards who has been crapped on for the last 3-4 years. And all of a sudden he's the king of the mountain. He's the everyman. And he's saying to the UFC, no, I get a say. I get to choose. I get to pick because I'm the champion. And so we're about to see who's going to win out here. The UFC with Colby or Leon who says, no, I want to see how April 8th plays out. And I want a rightful guy to fight me next for the belt. So it's a fascinating time. This is why we love the sport. I have no beef with Colby. He has earned his stripes in the game. But this stuff with Anik to me is just like, this doesn't make me want to watch you more. You're picking a fight with a broadcaster? Like, what is that? That's X-Pac heat. That's not the good kind of heat. You want the good kind of heat. This is change the channel heat. There's a difference. See, I'll explain to you. I got Roman Reigns heat. Samson has X-Pac heat. You get what I'm trying to say? Samson has changed the channel's heat. I have, prime time, 8 million ratings, views. Just look at your YouTube channel for further
I think
content.
Samson's got Roman heat, man.
Samson's got Roman heat. Samson could wrestle, could main event WrestleMania. Are you kidding me? Samson's main event, Samson's jerking the curtain for Sunday Night Heat the night before WrestleMania, if you get what I'm saying, all right? Not even close. Shout out to Sunday Night Heat. Great program back in the day.
Ariel, what's up, bro? Listen, can you...
Tony, my guy, 305,
my brother,
what's
go.
happening?
Can you tell the guys how big this trilogy was that Leon Edwards beat Kamaru Usman? Like, we've talked about it on the show, but, like, can you give it the gravity it deserves?
Oh, this was gigantic. They fought once in 2015 when they were both prelim fighters, and they fought again in August of 2020 in Salt Lake City for some bizarre reason, and it's one of the greatest finishes in the history of the UFC. Here's Leon. Dan, you would love this guy because he is truly the everyman. He's from Jamaica. His mom had him when she was a teen. He grew up essentially without a father. His father was involved in a lot of drug, gang stuff. He was murdered, and this quiet, somewhat like self-conscious, unassuming young fighter who everyone crapped on, who no one wanted to give a chance to, who everyone said, no, let's give it to this loud guy. Let's give it to that guy. He just worked his way up, put on his hard hat, lunch pail, and he finally got his moment. The equivalent of like a 50-point shot, the equivalent of like a 3-touchdown Hail Mary. And now he's the king of the mountain. And then they go to London with him as champion, and he beats Kamaru in the trilogy. And now he holds all the cards, and it's beautiful. And by the way, you guys should go. I remember, Dan, when you used to go to UFC events, didn't they have you out there? April 8th, at what is it now? Is it the Crypto Arena? Is it the 3TX Arena? Is it
MDA
Miami
now. It's the
Arena?
Miami-Dade Arena.
What a sad sack arena this is. I mean, a pathetic situation
All right,
over there with
that's
that
enough.
arena.
All right,
April
Helwani,
8th
that's enough.
in
That's
Miami.
enough.
I'll be
UFC
there.
That's
coming
cheap
back for
heat
the
coming
first
after a
time in 20
hometown. That
years.
is cheap heat.
All right, come back here. We'll have you in studio.
Is he
I'm
even going
gonna
to show
be
up?
No,
there.
he's not coming down.
I'm going to walk by the Clevelander. I'm going to go a little bit of this, and then I'm going to take a picture and walk away, all right?
See you later. Thank you for stopping by. Tell the people where they can find all your stuff. You're all over the
Everywhere.
place.
I'm taking over the world, and guess where you won't see me?
Okay.
Meadowlark Media, all right?
All right, see you
I
later.
heard that. Say that to my face next time, all right? I'll see you at Summer League when I take over basketball, too, all right?
Goodbye.
Oh, snap.
Goodbye. Sedano's turned, right? Are you done? Tony, you got to be embarrassed. Sedano has gone full Hollywood in a way.
Una pena, Dan.
Yeah, except
Que no,
Mike.
que no te puedo decir.
No, but Mike wants to join him. Mike wants to join.
I can't even look at Mike after that.
Dude, I love LA.
Sorry.
Love it.
I love it. I love LA.
Do they have beach? Oh, they have beaches. Yeah.
They have beaches.
They have beaches, but you just look at
Do
them.
they have traffic?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't actually.
Yeah, they
get
got
in-
traffic.
They
too.
got traffic.
It's not as bad as ours.
Hispanic?
It's not
Yeah,
as
they have
bad as
Hispanic
ours
people.
anymore. It is not as bad as ours anymore.
I mean, it's pretty bad.
Sedano traded most of his Cuban for Hollywood kale smoothies, correct?
Yeah, and I see him, and I think I want to be him. I'm drawn to this.
Manhattan Beach was really nice though when he took us there.
I'm going back for a full week. I can't get enough. I'm packing my finest, brightest suits.
How many of those do you have? Because it's a bold choice. The red, I don't think anybody, put it on the
tomato
poll.
red suits, just 2.
Men, do you have a red suit? Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show.
Also, put it on the poll. Are you the most dangerous record label in the world? If you do,
Why do you want to say it?
Let's update the poll here. Update the tournament because we haven't done that yet today. March Sadness is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. And it's not even an update. What we're doing is previewing the matchups. Mike Ryan is very excited. I don't know. You have snorted sports. Valerie asked me the other day, is there more sports? Because I was watching the World Baseball Classic. And it seems like there are more things I care about. I'm being offered a lot. And Miami being good at basketball, while the Panthers are playing for a playoff spot, and
Stugotz told you we have a March.
and you don't have the fan width for Heat basketball until the last 10 games.
We got WrestleMania. We got UFC coming into Miami. Not only do we have a March, fellas, we got an April.
what?
Do we
Got an
really?
April. We've
We can
had a
announce it?
March. We're having an April, man.
All right. Well, there are games in April, but these are the matchups. Let's go through the East region now. So this is who's remaining in the tournament. Chris Cody, it was a lot of work. You and Billy did a lot. Juju did a lot here. You feel like it was well received, that the tournament has been well received? Because you guys were really scrambling at the end.
Well, we had to scramble this year because we didn't have Kirkchin on as much. So when Kirkchin's not on as much, it's on us more because usually we can just, whatever we laugh at the most, those are the high seeds. This year, it's just kind of us having to take a bunch of them and seed them. I feel like we did all right. I feel like we got some good teams
I
left.
think one of the updates, okay, I think we should update some of this for Kirkchin. His laughter is missed around here. Regardless, let's do the East region. Michigan State, a 7 seed. Somehow, Tom Izzo was a failure of a season. It wasn't a very good season, but Izzo's always in the Sweet 16, so that means this is.
Brooks Koepka looked like the extent of his Spanish is me gusta chicas.
He does look like that. That is facing number 3, Kansas State. Kansas State is represented. I think Kansas State is one of the weaker ones.
Chris Whittingham looks like his favorite dinosaur is the thesaurus.
I'm so done with Whittingham and this victory lap he's taking. Everybody's syruping this outpouring because what's he doing?
I saw he was at the Heat game next to Maluma last night, and I was like, what is this work-life balance all of a sudden?
Yeah, this is, and he's just enjoying all of this annoying applause that he keeps getting for being here again 6 minutes. Number 4, Tennessee. Tennessee is repped by
Dan Campbell looks like a retired professional wrestler now running for office and running on a platform promising to body slam taxes.
That's facing FAU. Oh, we somehow snuck right past another thing we talked about and did not do.
Yep.
We're not big enough as a show, America's biggest sports podcast, not big enough to get Chris Cody to spend any time with Johnny Come Lately, FAU Come Lately over here. They're good at basketball. You were going to get on their bench. You were going to get in their band, and all you are is just sitting here across from me.
It was a big ask of us.
Oh,
I
get outta here.
I love
Can
us.
we be on your bench?
I love us. The biggest game, not of this season, not of this tournament, in school history, in maybe any sport. That's probably not true. They probably had success in some smaller
Lane
sports.
train.
It's as big a game in school history, and we're just like, hey, can we come do jazz hands around your game?
So why'd the coach say yes?
Because he's just doing a thing.
Because he's a liar, like all the other people in this business. Why he
college
fits right in
basketball.
with
He'll be at Notre Dame in
Patino,
2
that
weeks.
vampire Patino. That's right. He's renting. He's at the Blue Martini now, talking about, I don't even know what my bonuses are. But wait till he asks for Rick Barnes money. FAU rep by
Andrew Luck looks like he switched from coffee to a mushroom-based tea, and it absolutely changed his life for the better.
Rick Barnes is a level of affluence. Like Rick Barnes money.
I mean, he makes $500,000 now, and Rick Barnes is making $5 million a year. You think he's going to be at FAU very much longer? That liar. He told us.
Are we rooting against FAU
Yes,
now?
I'm
Hold on.
against FAU.
Is
I
that-
am now rooting for Tennessee. I've turned on the Owls. Man, the Cody family's royalty over there. Don't treat them like they're nobodies.
You know what?
Your Dusty May come lately.
Should have known. They're foul owls on the prowl.
Cody's have been here for years.
Having affairs right on the campus.
Affairs on campus. Man, Greg Cody was cheating 50 years before you were cheating on that campus to get your players.
So was Lurleen.
So was the family of Codys, of Wild Bill Cody, just a bunch of cheaters. Long before you went there and cashed in on the cheating. We don't even know if Greg is Chris's real father. We don't know this.
Nah, I have the same hands as him.
And feet, apparently.
And also when we shaved them
I don't know.
at the
We've done
All-Star
this
Weekend.
before, but let me see your belly button.
Not right now.
Chris Cody.
You got to pay for that.
He's got a weird one.
Subscribe to my Instagram if you want to see that.
Really?
I do, and I'm a little disappointed at the lack of content.
It's a slow build.
Dude, I'm
It's a slow
paying
build.
twice the
You've been doing it for
price
2
for a
months
Mike
already.
Ryan Ruiz super follow.
Cheaper than an expensive cup of coffee. You can get my monthly, a lot of
No,
extra
you know
content, a lot
what?
of Greg
No,
Cody
no,
stuff.
look.
2 pieces of content a week for
look.
twice the price.
This is terrible
There's
nepotism.
2 coming like later in the
No,
week.
I've seen what's happened here. Look, this is unbelievable. As Meadowlark
That
Media,
water bill's getting paid is what's happening there.
Meadowlark Media is trying to grow. There are 50 employees here. Mike wants to get to Hollywood.
you pay that once every 3 months, and it's 50
No,
bucks.
it's embarrassing. No,
He's
the
turning his faucets on all over the house.
Listen,
His
no,
wife
no,
is like,
this-
his wife is like, hold on. His wife is like, honey, what are you doing? Don't worry, Instagram's got us.
this is personally offensive to me. What we broke into freedom from ESPN, and some of you grabbed very quickly. Oh, Cameo money, yes.
I'm still on Cameo.
And then you
I would
forgot
never-
to.
I would never.
Cameo.com/Darthamine.
I would never lower myself
And
to
then-
that.
and then-
Super follow Mike Ryan Ruiz.
No, and then
Michael
no, but this
Ryan
is how it
Ruiz.
grew. The greed grew in a way that makes me uncomfortable, is embarrassing, and it happens out in public, but it's a benefit of freedom. And it got to the point on Cameo, Stugotz just doesn't do them anymore. Not worth whatever hundreds of dollars he's getting there every time he does one. Leaves them without doing them. Too busy. Stugotz can't be here today. Like that's just it's just Stugotz. But Mike Ryan then tries a more honorable path as Twitter falls apart. I'm going to give people exclusive information. I'm going to work at this in the shadows when I don't have time. And Chris Cody, son of nepotism.
I work hard.
Chris Cody, Greg Cody's
Just
son.
not at the Instagram.
I'm giving the pe-
subscription.
Look, all you got to do is give people your dad falling drunk in the bushes from that garage one time, and you will have given them the value.
That's what I'm saying. That's the stuff I give.
gotta
I'm
hold
giving
them.
you life stuff.
But
I'm
you
not.
haven't
You
given
haven't
it.
given me anything.
There was a pic of
I
a
saw-
refrigerator.
I saw your refrigerator, and that was it.
You're not subscribed to me, Tony. You don't know what I'd be giving away.
I know the
I'm
game.
subscribed.
I know. Mike is
I hear
subscribed.
from Mike.
It ain't a
Chris,
lie.
has
You
Chris
got to
Cody
see my
been lazy?
refrigerator. You got to see my dad's garage. You get to see. What did I do? This
No,
time?
here's the great secret. The
Those are the two-
the great
Not
secret.
enough.
The great
Do
secret
more.
is the Codys aren't that interesting, and he can only go to his dad so much. We've propped him up for as long as we can. There's
would
not
love-
that,
I
there's
would-
not
no.
that much there.
I subscribed to it because I wanted to support Chris. He super follows me. I want to pay it forward, but I want something for it. I'm not
come
getting
on.
Just give
anything.
him $5 a month cash.
I'm not getting enough.
Don't
Greg-
lie to the people. It's good stuff I'm giving. away.
Greg,
Chris Cody on Instagram.
Do more.
And
Cheaper
you-
than an expensive cup of coffee.
Greg, and you could do a legitimately fun and funny father-son show.
We do it on the
if
Greg Cody
you
Show.
weren't lazy.
Both of you.
He works hard. Just not at Instagram.
It's,
It is something when I signed up for. I'm like, I'm gonna give people something every day, and then it's like, oh crap, I haven't done that in 4
You
days.
haven't done shit.
It's a lot. I got a lot of stuff going on.
let me explain something to you, child of nepotism.
Just read the
Work hard.
Let me explain to you as Jeremy Taché tries to find a lane here and does Nickelback in private. You got everybody's fighting for the content now.
I've done that.
Everybody's fighting for the content dollar.
I did a Drake Ryan Tannehill parody when Jeremy was in diapers.
Can we find that?
It's really bad.
Can we? I want more information. I want to hear. I now want to go through our substantive library because Jeremy's a theater major and you are not. And
Yeah, he's a theater kid in high school. No, theater major in high school.
Yo, and also, by the way, Chris Cody, enough with your TikToks. Somehow my algorithm picked up.
Those things crush on social media.
Oh my God. I'm
you
like,
talking about those real views?
Oh my God. Get these out of my algorithm.
I love you need to skyrocket as a social media phenomenon, just being maximum lazy.
I
used to think you had potential. Maybe our best since Marino. Thought you had potential. Maybe our best since Marino. 4 years and no playoff berth. First round pick you were not worth.
Hey.
4 years and no playoff berth.
None.
First round pick you were not worth. Struggle with the deep ball. You are lucky that Mike Sherman never found out. Probably shouldn't draft a college wideout. You be throwing picks, you got me stressed out. Struggle with the deep ball, you get so many mother safeties. Your thumbs look like toes and that is crazy. Looks like another decade of irrelevancy. I used to think you had potential. Maybe our best since Marino. Thought you had potential.
Please stop.
Maybe our best since Marino. 4 years and no playoff berth.
Oh, wow, it doesn't end.
First round pick you were not worth.
Banger. Someday, Jeremy.
How horrified were your insides listening to that?